Welcome to Batman vs. Everybody, where we pit Batman versus, well, everybody. Have you ever wondered who has more money, Bruce Wayne or Elon Musk? Or what about who would win in a fight between Chuck Norris and Batman?
Every other week, we'll discuss the Dark Knight's encounters through pop culture's multiverse with your hosts, Josh and Ever. Follow us across social media, all across social media on Instagram at Batman vs. Everybody, Twitter, Bat vs. Everybody, and Facebook at Batman vs. Everybody. Also be sure and check out our website, www.batmanvseverybody.com, where you'll be able to find our podcasts and pretty much everything that we talk about on our episodes.
Welcome to Batman vs. Everybody, where today we pit the Cape Crusader versus Bruce Lee.
Yeah, so in today's episode, we're going to be going, Batman's going to be going up against Bruce Lee. Let's definitely get into the tale of the tape. What does Batman have today?
All right, so we have Batman, born Bruce Wayne, 6'2", 210 pounds, species human, of course, also known as matches Malone, and abilities include genius-level intellect, peak human physical condition, skilled martial artist, and most importantly, expert detective.
So we also, we kind of hear that on every episode, but let's get into the tale of the tape for Bruce Lee. He was actually born Lee Jun-fan, not by his actor name that we all know and love him by, Bruce Lee. He's 5'8", 141 pounds. Species is human, of course. Also known as the Dragon. He is a martial artist, philosopher, and actor.
5'8", he's a little guy.
Hey,
he's a little short guy, 140 pounds, soaking wet, man.
How tall is Batman again?
6'2".
6'2".
6'2".
He's got a few inches on him.
And right. 70 pounds on him too. 70 pounds.
It's the bat suit. It's the bat suit that gives him.
It's like a toddler. It's like a toddler fighting a fifth grader.
It's just the bat suit. It's the bat belt that weighs him down and gives him the extra pounds.
It's 210 pounds. No bat suit. All natural.
When he gets out of the shower.
Oh my God! All right, yeah.
All right, let's get into round one. So round one, origins. What do you got for Batman's origin story? Again?
All right, so Batman's origins, same as always. Wayne family, crime alley, mugger, bang bang. I'm Batman. Y'all know the story.
So for Bruce Lee, we all know that kind of his backstory. Bruce Lee was a famous martial artist. He was a movie star and a cultural icon. When you were growing up, everyone pretended to be that they were Bruce Lee. If they're, maybe a Gen X, a millennial, we all know who Bruce Lee is. But his philosophy is what caught fire around the world with the new generation, seeking meaning and consciousness. So he taught us, what it was like to live in harmony with himself and in the world, while also being a super freaking badass, awesome martial artist, kicking things down, breaking things. He was born November 27th, 1940, and basically he's professionally known as Bruce Lee. Actor, director, martial artist, like we said, martial arts instructor, and philosopher. He was the founder of the hybrid martial arts Jeet Kune Do.
Which Batman knows, by the way. Batman knows that technique.
So he created that. Bruce Lee created that. He can be... Anyway, we'll get into that in my next round here. Yeah. He is considered by commentators, critics, and media and other martial artists to be one of the most influential martial artists and pop culture icons of the 20th century. He's often credited with helping to change the way Asians were presented in American films. So he's freaking awesome, man. Like, he's awesome. And we all know him by, his movies, Fists of Fury, Enter the Dragon, all those movies there. So it's kind of cool. He had an awesome martial arts career. He has a family. He was an actor, philanthropist, all sorts of stuff there. So, yeah.
That nice little yellow tracksuit.
Hey, I had one of those when I was little.
Yellow tracksuit with the matching shoes. Hey, it's still, as long as it's yellow with the black stripe down the side, it all works, man. Nobody's looking at the label. That's his version of a bat suit, I guess.
And as we all know, Bruce Lee is actually no longer with us, so he's not a living human right now, or he's not a living being. He's not alive. A little bit about his death on March 10th, 1973. Bruce Lee collapsed during an automated dialogue replacement session for Enter the Dragon. He was suffering from seizures and headaches, and then was rushed to the hospitals, where doctors diagnosed him with cerebral edema, which basically meant that he was basically, his brain was swelling up. That's kind of crazy. I didn't know that. And then subsequently died. That being said, he died at the age of 32, which was a little too young for my taste, man. He was
32, accomplished. I read somewhere that it said that he accomplished everything that he wanted to by the age of 32. So imagine if he would have lived another 10 years. God,
who knows what he could have been doing. Round two. So we're going to get into round two now, which we're going to be talking about resources for both Batman and Bruce Lee. Let's go with what is Batman? What are his resources again?
Okay, so for Batman's resources, I'm going to start this off with the quote from our competitor Bruce Lee. So here's a quote from him: "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." Does that remind you of anybody? Because it does me. It reminds me of Batman. Batman, all he does is practice. Practice makes perfect, like we know. So Batman not only knows 127 different fighting styles, all of which have been practiced thousands of times, but one of them is Jeet Kune Do, made famous by the dragon. So aside from the technique that Bruce Lee perfected, one of his life's works, that's one of the things that he accomplished that he was most proud of, the fact that he was able to kind of mend and mesh so many different fighting styles himself. Batman also knows 126 other ways to take him out. And aside from all this fighting, not to mention the fact that it's $9 billion, billion with the B, in batarangs, bat cycles, and everything else bat. Those are his resources, amongst others, of course.
So, of course, like we just said earlier, he founded, literally, originally became the person who created Jeet Kune Do. So, in this instance, Batman is the student and Bruce Lee is the master. So
you're absolutely right.
Going for him.
In one technique, out of 127, one technique, Bruce Lee perfected, mastered, practiced 10,000 times, did his thing in one technique. Let's say at the most, in that one technique, like a normal UFC fighter, it's five mended techniques, five blended techniques in that one technique. So he knows five. Batman knows 127 different ways. We listed him in the Elon Musk episode. If you want to hear me rattle those off, but yeah, definitely 127 fighting styles, all that money, all that tech. I don't see how Bruce Lee gets out alive.
So we'll talk about this in mano a mano, but we're going to talk about his fighting style here because it's pretty legit. As far as resources go, Bruce Lee has a net worth as a martial artist, martial arts instructor, movie star, of course. He had a net worth of about $10 million, which, of course, does not compare to the billions of dollars Batman has. But, Bruce Lee was a philanthropist also. He cared more about giving back than just creating bat stuff and bat.
Whoa! Batman's also a philanthropist. Let's just throw that out there. It's not blemish what he's done for the Wayne orphanage. That's where he got. He did that. So he does a lot of philanthropy on his own for Gotham City and for Metropolis as well.
Metropolis.
Yeah, Metropolis, where Superman's at. Superman can save all the people, but he ain't got no money.
Hey, he works at a newspaper. Speaking of Superman, I'm gonna a little break in the show because I wanted to talk about this because I couldn't sleep last night, like you just said you couldn't sleep. So instead of doing research for this episode, I actually watched Justice League for the very first time. I'd never seen it before until last night at 3 a.m. when I couldn't sleep, and I didn't know. So one, it was pretty funny how they all came together and two, Speed in that, or excuse me, Speed, Flash in that movie was a little like goofy and nerdy, and I don't know if that was the best way to portray him.
He was a little spazzy, right?
Yeah,
He's kind of weird. Yeah, it's kind of funky, but
when
I don't know.
Like when I first tried to watch it, all the kids were awake, so I couldn't watch the full thing in its entirety. But like when they got to Flash and like his nerdiness, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch this. But Ben Affleck as Batman was okay. I didn't think he was the best Batman ever. But I mean, Superman, it was pretty cool how they spoiler alert. But it's an old movie anyway.
It's an old movie. There's no excuse. If you're listening to this podcast, that is not a spoiler at all.
If you haven't seen it, how they revived Superman, and then how he was like trying to kill everybody, that was pretty freaking awesome.
That was cool. And that fight scene too, where you see Flash kind of freak out that he's
because he was as fast as him.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the way when his eyes turned, man, I remember watching that at the theaters. It was awesome. I love that. I didn't love the movie, but I love that part. That part was just so cool.
That was cool. And then when Flash was running really fast somewhere to save the people, and then he's like, "You need to go east." And then he's like, "I hope this is east." Like I understood the comedic relief of it, but like I was like, "What? Like this is kind of dumb." But then he was like running super fast, and then Superman was right there next to him, and I was like, "What?" And then like how he only saved the truck, Flash did, and then like Superman saved the whole building. That was pretty.
Did you see the after credit scene?
Yeah, I saw the after credit scene
with the race
when they were
pretty
racing.
Cool, right? Yeah, that was also a good part of the movie, man. That was really cool. I'm glad they put that little mid credit scene there. So I think what they did with Flash was they tried to make him kind of like their version of Spider-Man from the MCU, where he's a little funny, a little nerdy, a younger version. So to make Batman an Iron Man, which is not what he does. That's not who the person he is. So I don't know why. I guess they tried to make him kind of like a Batman. How can I put it? Like a protege or an apprentice to Batman. But they're totally different characters. But again, that's that version, and there's many other versions in different multiverses. So that's the way that they went there. But I can't believe you had just seen it, man.
That's the first time I'd seen it. So like whenever you in the previous episode mentioned the things that live off of fear, or like they
Scarecrow.
There we go.
Oh well, no, in Justice League, those are parademons.
There we go.
Those are parademons. Yeah.
At the beginning, when Batman fights about last time.
So Scarecrow. In the movies, Scarecrow comes out in Batman Begins with the burlap sack.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's Scarecrow, and then he comes out in Dark Knight Rises, very little, as a judge, who he says, "Hey, you can live or walk the plank," and they fall in the ice pit. I don't know. If you
that's right.
That's Scarecrow too. He makes a small appearance there. But no, I mean he's a lot better in the comics, man. He's actually more that was more grounded in the Nolan verse. That was a little bit more grounded, but over here in the comics, he's a bit cooler, a bit darker, a bit more sinister.
All right. So now back to Bruce Lee. He's awesome. He has
$10 million. I was going to tell you, I did a little research on your behalf. $10 million in the 1970s is $63 million now with inflation.
Hey, see?
Okay, it's not $9 billion though.
But it's close.
No, it's not close. Not close at all. But hey, $63 million. That's a good chunk of change. I wish I had $63 million right now.
Hey,
let's throw that out there.
If I had $1 million,
let's say I wish I had the $10 million from 1970. I'm good with that too.
Right. Other than that, as far as resources goes, he's gonna be he's real into Taoism, Buddhism. So his philosophy and his fighting style, he has all that going for him as far as his resources. He can be one with the universe, and still kick Batman's ass. But I'm just saying.
He's 5'8". He can reach Batman's navel. He can reach Batman's navel. That's it. That's where he's gonna punch him in the stomach. All right, cool. I've got a Kevlar enforced suit. What are you gonna do to me, little guy? Nothing.
Come on, man. Bruce Lee, 1-inch punch. I mean, come on. We'll talk about that in the next round here. Jun-fan Gung Fu.
That sounds like Shaq Fu. Did you ever have that game in the Super Nintendo?
No, what is it?
Shaq Fu? It's Shaq doing Kung Fu.
Oh, that's hilarious. No.
It's for the Super Nintendo, dude. Yeah, it came out like in 1996. It was awesome. I remember getting that as a Christmas gift. It's like, wow, this is really cool. It's just Shaq. So it's Mario. Imagine like Super Mario. So it's Shaq walking around the streets and just fighting dudes. And then he throws like a basketball on fire as a power. That's it.
That's hilarious.
I bet you it's pretty hard to find right now, man. But yeah, I had it back in the day.
All right, let's do round 3.
So for round 2, we can say that Batman won round 2 because there's really no comparison. Money, $9 billion, tech, all the tech. Bruce Lee had what kind of tech? He didn't even have a cell phone in the
1970s. What do you expect?
That ain't my fault. 1970s, no tech, and then of course fighting technique. Bruce Lee's got his one awesome Jeet Kune Do. Batman's got 126 others. Batman wins round 2.
Round 2. Batman took it. Round 3, mano a mano.
Right.
What do you think? Like, this is going to be the round that's going to determine whether, Bruce Lee or Batman wins it.
And I mean, let's be honest. These guys are some of the best fighters in real life, fake life, this multiverse, that multiverse. It's Bruce Lee, it's Batman. This is exactly their forte. This is what they should be. This is the best round in my opinion.
I have to agree because even though Bruce Lee was only 5'8" and weighing 141 pounds, he was renowned for his physical fitness, his vigor, and his dedicated fitness regimen to become as strong as possible. Batman is too busy over there being a playboy and driving around in fancy cars and suits and not even worrying about physical fitness.
That's a facade. That's the life is Batman. Batman, the real person is Batman. The job is Bruce Wayne. That's the best way that I can put it. So his 9 to 5 is Bruce Wayne, but what he lives for, the passion, is Batman. Throw it that. He's the reverse of us. Our real life is our real life, and our passion is what we're doing right now.
So Bruce Lee included all these elements into his fitness, muscular strength, muscular endurance, cardiovascular endurance. I'm pretty sure that Bruce Lee in a track race, in a foot race, can outrun Batman because he has excellent cardiovascular endurance and flexibility. I mean, how else can you do the split thing that he did in that one clip on YouTube? I forgot, maybe Enter the Dragon. I mean, Batman can't do no split.
So what you're saying is he's going to run away. So Batman will just have to run him over with the Batmobile, send the Batpod for him. I mean, hey, it's tech that's there that he's got. So round 3, let's say these guys meet. We won't say Gotham City because Batman will have the advantage there. Let's say they meet in some rural Japanese town, just like they did in Fist of Fury. Or do you want him to meet like an Enter the Dragon in that? Remember that cool mirror scene where he's got all these? No, I mean Batman. Come on, that's
Batman
that's
would get
unfair
lost
too.
in there, bro.
No, he would not get lost.
Batman would be like, "Oh, look at my bat suit." He'd be too busy looking at himself, man.
No, not at all, man. Not at all. No. You're completely off there. So that's an advantage to Batman too. Let's just say they meet outside somewhere in Japan. Somewhere in on that side of the world. They just meet somewhere. Okay, so Batman has actually fought for 28 hours straight as a training exercise before he became Batman. So this is Bruce Wayne in his early 20s, mid 20s. His sensei taught him, trained him. This is one of your training exercises. 28 hours straight, fight dudes. There you go. 28 hours straight, a day and 4 hours. And this actually really happened. So this happened in Scott Snyder's New 52 run of Batman, issue number 23. So if you don't believe me, check that panel out. It shows Batman beating up a bunch of dudes, 28 hours straight, a day plus and change of physical fighting. No gadgets, just fist. Come on.
So no really? Tech.
And no tech.
So you're saying the only advantage that Batman has over Bruce Lee is his tech.
No.
Hand to hand.
I'm saying he beat combat. 28 dudes with no tech. Now put the tech on him, it's over. And even at that, you were talking about conditioning and training regimen. All right, cool. So Batman is at the peak of human condition, right? Batman has been known to lift because gains, bro. Let's throw that out there. 1,000 pounds, lifting 1,000 pounds, not as a bench press, but a deadlift, 1,000 pounds. And this actually happens in Justice. This happens in Detective Comics number 484 when he's holding up a ceiling from collapsing over a couple of hostages. So you can check that out. That's 484. That's pretty old, but you can look that up. Also, he usually benches between 400 and 500 pounds regularly. How much is Bruce Lee? 140 pounds. This guy benches 4 times that regularly, as in chest day. His chest day is 400 to 500 pounds. That's crazy. Come on, man. Bruce Lee doesn't know what's coming. He doesn't know what's coming at all.
So let's take a look here. How much can Bruce Lee bench press? I
Even
know
if
it
he
isn't
bench
that
presses
much.
double his weight, even if he bench presses 280, which I don't know if he can do that, but you usually bench press your weight. Maybe he can. I don't know. I'm not into fitness, so.
I don't know either. That's something that, don't sign me up for cardio.
No, I don't mind cardio. I don't want the weights.
So all it says, Bruce Lee did a lot of variations of push-ups. So, I mean, he trained, bodybuilding as well. As far as how much he can bench press, I don't know. But what has this? I mean, does the suit actually help with helping you do that, or is it just him in his physical condition for
the
Batman?
1,000 pounds. So the 1,000 pounds, it happened in the 70s. So it's Detective Comics number 484. The suit back then was just cloth. It was just Kevlar, really. That's it. If anything, it had bullet stopping power. So it's not enhanced like the new ones, where he's got a little bit of newer tech. So back then, 1,000 pounds. I'm holding it up with 2 hands. Please don't crush these people. I'm the Batman. Don't worry about it. 1,000 pounds over his head, man. Crazy. Look up World's Strongest Man. I don't even know if people can do that. That's 1,000 pounds. Oh, he's not a person. He's Batman. So let's not forget.
Let's see how much the World's Strongest Man can lift.
Overhead.
The reigning World's Strongest Man champion raised the heaviest strongman deadlift to 1,102 pounds.
So this guy's almost the world's strongest man, and that's not even what he does. He doesn't care about lifting. He cares about just keeping himself in perfect condition to be able to fight Bane and to be able to fight Killer Croc and all these other massive 1,000-pounders. Oh, dude. Bruce Lee can fight. He's going to hand a couple of punches. That's fine. He can do his 1-inch punch.
Punch?
He can do the 1-inch punch. That's perfectly fine. Do a couple watas. It's over. It's over, man. It's over. Batarang, it's over. It's Batarang to the face.
That's funny, man. I'm gonna have to give it to Batman on this one, because other than knowing some, which, I mean, I don't know any kung fu or freaking martial arts or anything like that, and I'm pretty sure Bruce Lee was in peak physical condition. Probably Batman with all his tech probably could be in there. So I'm gonna have to give it to Batman on this one too.
Without the tech. Let's not cut him short. Or without the tech. And I'm going to throw another quote at you really quickly from the great Bruce Lee. So Bruce Lee once said, "Bored don't hit back, but Batman does." Pa!
Oh, awesome. So, round 3 goes to Batman. Do you agree?
Oh, of course. Round 3 definitely goes to Batman. And that was, I wish this would have been closer. In theory, you think, for our listeners out there, in theory, you think, oh, Bruce Lee, Batman, that's going to be awesome. It is, until you kind of just imagine them. Just imagine somebody who's 5'8". So imagine somebody who's 5'8". Imagine somebody who's 6'2". That just alone, if they're in the worst shape possible, both of them. So imagine the height difference, and then put these guys at their physical peak. And then put Batman with the tech. Oh no, man, no, there's no way. There's no way. It's a good theory, but no, Batman takes it, hands down.
Yep. Round 3 goes to Batman. Yep, that's that.
So Batman wins today's episode. And I wanted to actually shout out a quick Bat fact that I'm going to do every episode if possible. So did you know that in Tim Burton's Batman Returns, Batman's not actually wearing boots, but Air Jordan 6s?
What?
Yeah, exactly. So they're not boots. So you really have to pay attention to it. But he's not wearing boots. So the legendary Nike designer Tinker Hatfield, who did the Jordans from 1 through, if I'm not mistaken, 11. Yeah, from Jordan 1 to Jordan 11, he actually designed these blacked out Air Jordan 6s to seamlessly blend into the Batsuit. They were never released, unfortunately.
I was about to ask, can we buy those?
Dude, I would have a pair if they released that. Are you kidding me? I would have a pair if they released it. That'd be awesome. They're probably going to release them eventually, maybe for the Batman 100th year anniversary or something. That's I'm just giving Nike ideas now. But anyways, that's probably something that they'll end up doing. But they did actually sell one pair, so one boot from the set of the movie, sold on eBay, I think a couple years ago for $8,000. One boot. Well, I don't even know what. Michael Keaton's a small guy. I think he's like 5'8", so he's probably like a size 8,
He's
size
a size
9.
7.5.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say. So he's a tiny guy and this awesome bat boot, man. That's cool. Hopefully Nike releases it. Hopefully we're able to buy that later on, because if they do release it, they have my money.
I'm not a Jordan fan, so. But I don't know. See.
For sure.
That was today's episode. I want to thank everybody for listening. Batman won this one in the episode of Batman versus Bruce Lee. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, Ever. Again, our hosts, Josh and Ever. There should be something coming out on Instagram with a picture of this episode, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So watch out on our Instagram, Batman versus Everybody. Rick.draws on IG also, at Rick.draws. He's an artist from Brazil who actually provides the artwork for each of our episodes, and he's going to come out with something really, really cool for this Batman versus Bruce Lee episode. So keep an eye out for that. And then also you can see the one that he came out with for Captain Marvel, which is really cool. And then the Elon Musk one, which is one of my favorites as well. So go to our Instagram, Batman versus Everybody, and please visit Rick's Instagram as well, at Rick.draws.
And definitely all the music in this episode provided by Angel Montoya, good buddy of ours. Angel from, I don't know, he lives in McAllen. Anyway, whatever. Angel from high school. We've known him for a million years. Give him a follow on Instagram as well, at Angel Montoya 956. We're up in the RGV there. Give him a like, give him a shout. If you like any of the music here, he produces music. He creates music and has a DJ service, so if you need anything, definitely give him a like, give him a call, and he'll be able to help you out with that. So this was your host, Josh and Ever. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you come back for a next episode.
Yep. See you next time. Thanks.
Bye.